What's going on, everybody? You hear the music, you know what time it is. I am KODX Factor, and we are back in beautiful North Carolina after a long week off. Actually, technically almost like a week and a half, because, and here's the story. So, first and foremost, I have to open up by saying our thoughts and our prayers from all of us here that work here at the Game Night Lounge are with everybody that was affected by Hurricane Florence. We were affected by Hurricane Florence as well. Not near as bad as other people have been. Hurricane Florence it just wreaked havoc on the North Carolina as a whole, essentially. But we had I took my family and we went on vacation. We had planned a trip for almost a year now, where we were going to go to Walt Disney World. We stayed on property. We did everything we wanted to do. We were there for a full week, and about halfway through our trip, we got the news that Hurricane Florence was on its way to North Carolina. And the first thought that popped into our head was, we're here in Florida. We're definitely out of harm's way at this point, but we will be traveling back home during the course of this hurricane. Now, at the time that we had initially saw the reports of it, it was at that point a Category 4, and we were extremely worried, not only for our well-being, but all of our friends and family that were still here, their well-being as well, and everybody here that could be affected, because it was a Category 4. Category 4, if you know, is something you just don't tangle with. So as it got a little bit later in the week, we had did our thing over at Disney. It was inching closer for us to get ready to leave. We heard the hurricane hit on Friday. We were leaving on Saturday morning. So we had left Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, traveled back to North Carolina on Saturday morning. We had perfect road conditions, perfect travel all the way until we got to South Carolina. When we got to South Carolina, it got extremely intense. The rain was really coming down. Not so much of the wind, because at that point it had died down to a tropical storm. But the wind wasn't really too much of a factor. It was the rain was coming down really, really heavy. And at times it made it really, really difficult for us to see. And I'm sure some of y'all are probably wondering, why didn't you guys just stay an extra day or two in Florida and then bypass the storm altogether? Well, for one, we had family that were with us that were, everybody was kind of at that point. And if you spent a week in Disney, at some point you're tired, you're done, you're ready to kind of go home and get back home and relax and try to get things back to normal. So we had traveled back home and everything was going good. And then we got into kind of close to the North Carolina border, and that's when things really, really started to kind of turn southward, condition-wise. There was trees down the road that we had to take detour routes the whole way home. It took us like an extra 2.5 hours to get back home. That's added on to the trip that we had already had. So, but we got a chance to kind of see, we drove through most of it. We got a chance to see a lot of the catastrophe that had happened. So our thoughts and prayers are with everybody that was affected. Thankfully, when we got home, we didn't have any damage to the house. We still had power on here at the locations. Our studios, we still had power on, and but many of our friends and our family did not have power for a number of days. So, but our thoughts and prayers are with all those affected, especially now that the storm has passed and flooding has become an issue, because we had so much rain that flooding was a major issue, and it was starting to flood in homes, and just a lot of damage gone, and just areas that don't normally flood got flooded, and it was just a really, really bad situation. So Hurricane Florence did its number on us. All of us that work here, all of our colleagues and our family, everybody here is okay. But there were a number of those affected, and our thoughts and prayers are with them, and we hope that you extend your thoughts and your prayers with them. At any point, you guys can help donate to the Red Cross or any of those, like the shelters that are of people that were really, really affected by the storm. That's what we do. And we're even delving out, trying to find local shelters that want to kind of have their kids come out and kind of take their mind off things a little bit. We want to game with them a little while. We got some of the new games we would love for them to come test out. We don't charge anything. We'll actually bring it to them and give them kind of something to do to kind of help alleviate things and take their mind off of the catastrophe that happened from Florence. But if at any chance, if you can, just please reach out to like the local Red Cross, just anything that can kind of help donate to relief for Hurricane Florence, especially in the coastal areas of Carolina and inward. I know we're kind of close. We're like the kind of in-between point to Raleigh and Fayetteville. And Fayetteville got hit really, really hard because of the storm. And further south got hit really, really hard because of the storm. And a lot of those are affected. There are still some without power even as of right now. And we're recording on a Friday. So this storm had landed a week from today. And there are still many that are feeling the effects of it, even as of right now. But our thoughts and prayers are with those affected, and just we hope that all of you guys extend your thoughts and prayers as well. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Now we are back from vacation, we started getting back onto our normal routine of recording videos. We weren't able to do so for a few days there when we got back, just because of the fact of, Hurricane Florence, and we're trying to get everything, back up in order and reach out to those that, that we were able to and kind of help where we can. And we just had a lot going on that we weren't able to actually do so. But now we are back to recording videos. Recording as of right now, the 3 reviews that we have promised to do for Marvel Spider-Man, the Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and NBA 2K19, all 3 of those reviews are now live. They are on our YouTube channel, so just make sure you go to the Game Night Lounge YouTube channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. All the reviews are right there, as well as all of our Let's Play videos. So we have Let's Play videos for all those continuing on right now. And we are getting right into the heart of the fall season. And with Spider-Man and Tomb Raider coming in, when they did, it's kind of like almost like the official kickoff for the fall. Now we know this fall we're going to have a lot of content coming your way. Everybody's starting to get hands-on with Red Dead Redemption 2. We can't wait to bring you content for that. And then you got a ton of others, with the new Blackout for Call of Duty 4 or Black Ops 4. We got Battlefield 5, Fallout 76 still on the horizon. Fallout 76, I think it was 76. We still have that on the horizon. We have a bunch of a slew of games coming. We got like Mega Man 11 still coming. Some of those one-off titles that you probably weren't really kind of paying close attention to because you had such big AAA titles still yet to come, that some of those smaller titles are kind of going under the radar. The Lego DC Villains, we're going to have that coverage for you as well. So we're going to be covering quite a bit. We got Soul Calibur still to come. We even got an unboxing video for the collector's edition of that. We will have a collector's edition unboxing for the Power Armor edition for Fallout 76. Make sure you stay tuned for that as well. And that's all like within like a 2-month span, because we're almost closing out September. We're almost gearing into October. And October means one thing for us here in the Game Night Lounge. And I know everybody here is actually kind of excited about it, because I get excited about it every single year. And this is our 2nd annual time of doing it. So we did it last year. We had a fantastic time with it. So we decided we're going to do it again this year. So starting on October the 1st, we are going to be running, every week we are going to be running our Halloween Let's Play series, where for the entire month of October, we are going to pick out a couple of games, and we're going to try to showcase them every week, of horror games that we are going to do Halloween editions of, leading all the way up to Halloween. So from October 1st to November the 1st, we are going to be highlighting a handful of horror-based games, and we're going to be streaming them and playing them online for you to watch. We have a lot of titles lined up already. We would like to hear from you on titles that you would like to kind of see played. I know we have some Dead by Daylight coming in. We have Friday the 13th coming. We got a bunch of Resident Evil. I think we even did a couple of Resident Evils last year. We got Evil Within 2 still. We've got we've got quite a bit of horror-based games, and we cannot wait to get started on playing those. And we really look forward to it, and we hope you guys are as well. So if there's particular games that you want to see being played during that time, please let us know. We would like to hear from you guys. Reach out to us either on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, however many means, even on our website. You can comment and let us know what horror-based games you would love to see us play, and we will stream them throughout the entirety of October for our Halloween Let's Play series events. So just putting that out there for you guys. Something to kind of look forward to since we are kind of getting close to the end of September, which means October is right around the corner. I love Halloween, and I cannot wait to do these Halloween Let's Play Halloween events. So I'm actually really kind of looking forward to it. So, and like I said, our reviews for these games that we had missed over the past week are now live, so you can go there and make sure you check them out. We would greatly appreciate that. And TGS has been going on, so there's a lot of stuff coming out of TGS as far as some videos, some gameplay videos. We got a lot of content in the way of Red Dead Redemption 2. We got a lot of stuff announced for Red Dead Redemption 2 that they are doing an online component, but it will launch post-game launch, so it will be coming after the game initially launches, which I'm okay with. I mean, I'm kind of really going to be gearing more of my time towards the single player of it anyway. So, I mean, I can hold off on the online component of it. So, you know, not too much in the way of disappointment there. But we all know Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be a great game. So I don't think there's any way about it. And then, like I said, we have a lot of other games to cover this fall. It's just a lot to think about as far as coverage goes. So on top of our Halloween Let's Play events, we got a lot of games coming in that we're going to be covering and doing reviews for, and lots of videos and content coming your way. So a lot to look forward to. We'll just put it that way. But one thing I really kind of wanted to talk about today, and it was something that was announced this week, and it really kind of struck a chord with me because it got my ears really perked up. One, I'm actually kind of excited about it, although the price point is really nothing to be excited about. What I'm talking about is Sony has announced that they're going to be following in the footprints of Nintendo with the release of the PlayStation Classic. Now, the PlayStation Classic, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, if Nintendo had released the NES Classic for, I want to say it was like $59.99, which was a miniature version of the original Nintendo system that came preloaded with, I want to say, like 16 games, something like that? About 16 games. And it had replica controllers, and it had a USB cord so you could plug it right into a modern-day TV that you have now. And then a year later, they released the SNES Classic for, I want to say, $69, like $10 more or something like that, right? And it came preloaded with about 16 games as well, maybe 20. I may be off on the count of the games that were pre-installed on these. But they made limited quantities of both, and scalpers were kind of coming in left and right. They were buying them up in droves, and then they were reselling them online. Became a really major issue, especially last fall. And then they decided to re-release them because they were so popular that they re-released them out to the market so people can get their hands on them. Now, Sony was like, you know, this is actually not a bad idea. And Sony decided to launch, or at least get ready to launch, the PlayStation 1 Classic, which is a miniature version of the PlayStation 1. It'll come preloaded with 20 games. I think they've only announced 4 of those games, if I'm not mistaken. Final Fantasy VII being one of them, which was kind of like struck a big chord, especially with many PlayStation fans out there, as Final Fantasy VII is a part of those games that are on that console. But think about it. Now we're getting a miniature-sized version of the PlayStation 1 that's going to function very much the same way as the NES and the SNES Classic. However, you are going to be spending $100 for it. Now, some may be like, okay, $100, not so bad. But let's look at this. Now we're getting into a realm where this is like, it's starting to become a money grab. And if you already had these classic systems to begin with and a lot of these games, it's not really going to make any sense for you to get this type of a console unless you want something easily plugged into your modern day TV, because a lot of those systems don't have HDMI cables unless you go through a whole bunch of conversion kits. You're going to have to play them on old school TVs that have those inputs. However, if you want to just, with the simple ease of an HDMI cable, plug right on in and then load up on 20 pre-installed games already, you may be interested in that. But $100 is actually a pretty steep price to ask for a miniature classic version console. I would think anywhere in the realm of $69 to $79 tops would probably be the best fit for something like that, just because of you're not going to have a huge audience grab, especially if you're looking at like modern day gamers as they are now. If you're looking at retro gamers, and I mean, because this is kind of showing that retro games are still prevalent today. And I'm sure many people out there who are retro gamers in themselves are kind of excited about this, because this is keeping retro games circulating. It's keeping them active. It's amongst the industry. And a lot of these games age well. I mean, Final Fantasy VII, I'm sure ages well. But there's only going to be a core audience that these are going to kind of go towards, that these are going to gravitate towards. Now, they haven't announced the entire library of games for this system, which I'm kind of surprised about. If this thing comes out in November, why not just reveal the full game list of what comes pre-installed on this system? Final Fantasy VII, I'm sure, is a big one. I know they've got to have at least Metal Gear Solid on there somewhere, the first Metal Gear Solid. It's got to be on there somewhere, right? And then you got the original Resident Evil. That's going to be on there somewhere. I wouldn't even be surprised to see Resident Evil 2 on there, because that was a big game for the console as well. Stuff like that's got to be on there. But we don't know, because we have absolutely no idea what is on the system except for like maybe 4 or 5 games. And it's going to start to make me wonder how many other consoles are going to be coming out with classic versions of their old consoles, because it's starting to become a money grab now, where people are like, oh, I'll get it, I'll get one, and then they're gonna, all of a sudden everybody's gonna start thinking that their classic consoles are gonna sell off the shelf like the NES and the SNES Classic do. I don't think that's gonna be the case. The SNES and the NES Classic has some of the most classic games you can ever think of, in the forms like Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda. These are titles that, when you think video games, resonate. And Sony's got some as well, but do they have enough for a $100 price tag? Final Fantasy VII, yes. Metal Gear, I'm sure. Resident Evil, yes. But do you think that they have the clout for a $100 price tag for something like that? I think the price needs to come down. And I can see already where this is going to head. Before long, we're going to have the GameCube Classic. The Sega one has already been delayed, but we know that one's coming. I'm sure there's going to be a Dreamcast one out there somewhere, coming very, very soon from Sega. And you know Xbox is going to be like, hey, PlayStation did it. And then they're going to have like the PS2 Classic. You watch. It's coming too. Watch. The PS2 Classic, or the Mini. Pre-installed 25 games, maybe 30. It's got the likes of like Devil May Cry, God of War, stuff like that on there. You watch. Twisted Metal, Siphon Filter. And then Xbox is going to be like, you know what? We're going to have a classic model as well. I remember how big that initial system was when it first came out. How big's their classic version going to be? About the size of a standard console today? And before long, you realize every person has got a slimmed down classic version of one of their original systems, or maybe even their second system. It's going to happen. Your living room is going to have the core systems. You may have a Switch, a PS4, or an Xbox One. You may even have a PS3 or an Xbox 360. You might even still have a PS2. But then you're going to have your NES Classic, SNES Classic, the Sega Genesis Classic, the PlayStation 1 Classic, and then you're going to have like the GameCube Classic, the Sega Dreamcast Classic. You're going to then have the Xbox Classic. And before long, our next generation console is going to be here, and they're going to be like, you know what? We're going to have a classic Xbox 360, and then a classic PlayStation 3, and so forth and so on and so on and so on. It's going to keep on kind of trending as long as sales are still there. If sales tend to drop off, then we're not going to see any more of those produced probably for a number of years. But is this a trend that's going to be coming, and is this like one of those quick money grab? We'll see it here for just a few, and then it's gone? Or is this something that's going to be consistent and something we're going to see ongoing for quite some time? I'm curious. Because if this is something we're going to see for quite some time going on, I could see this being a problem. And I'm sure there's going to be, like I said, if you're one of those that are like us that collect systems, collect games, and you still have a lot of these old systems and a lot of these old games, there's probably no sense for you to get one of these classics to begin with. But if not, or if you're like one of the new age gamers that your first console was like an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One or a PS3 or a PS4, and you want to kind of reach back and try to find out what was in these, like what type of games were there in the past. You might have heard about them, you've never seen them, you never played them before. This may be kind of up your avenue. It's a cheap way of getting your hands on a classic system with a handful of the core games that system was known for and popular for. For that, I get it. But how many of those people are actually out there? How many of those people actually really care? I'm curious. Let me know. How many of you guys actually absolutely really care that this is like a must-have? I don't have an NES Classic. I don't have an SNES Classic. I've got friends that do, but I've never felt the need to get one. One, because, I already own the original systems in a lot of those games anyhow. And I can really get my hands on playing a lot of those anytime I want. And I don't want to have to buy a micro one to play. That's just my personal opinion. But I'm really curious to see whether this is something going to be ongoing, or if this is kind of like one of those one-off little trendy things for the first couple years and then it's gone type of deal. Much like, I hate to say it, but much like the way of the Sony handheld systems. I'm sorry. For those of you that are fans of the Sony handheld systems, like the PSP or the PlayStation Vita, by the way, they're discontinuing the PlayStation Vita, so they're not producing anymore. You might have heard about that. But I wonder, are they even going to put out like a PSP Classic? I'm kind of curious. Do they even have 20 games that are worthwhile to put on there? I can think of maybe 3, maybe 4, if I thought hard enough. And the Vita, we won't even talk about the Vita. I haven't played the Vita in probably 5 years, something like that. Maybe longer than that. But, yeah, I'd like to know what your thoughts and opinions are on that matter. Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know on whichever avenue you feel comfortable letting us know in or talking to us. You can either DM us on Twitter. So make sure you give us a good like, give us a follow, give us a subscribe. You can go to our website at www.GameNightLounge.wordpress.com. You can go to our Facebook page. We are at the Game Night Lounge. We are also on Twitter at Game Night Lounge, or you can follow me personally on Twitter at KODXFactor. You can go to our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is the Game Night Lounge. We have content every week. So whether it's Let's Play videos, whether it's under reviews, whether it's the Dynamic Duo videos, we have content every single week. Unless we're out of town like we were last week, then it was kind of like slim pickings for content. And then you can follow us on also the iTunes Store, Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean. We're on all those avenues for our podcast. Please let us know what your thoughts are. Let us comment to us. We also have a Twitch channel. It's our twitch.tv/KODXFactor or twitch.tv/Game Night Lounge. We have both of those channels. They're both kind of linked together, so if one's going, the other one is as well. So they're kind of linked. So that way you can go to either channel and still view the content that's coming in the pipeline for them. So thank you guys so much for your time. We greatly appreciate you guys waiting a week for us. We've had a lot to go through this past week, especially with the storm and us getting back from vacation. So I really, really thank you guys for your patience. Please let us know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below or DM us. That would greatly, greatly appreciate it. I am KODX Factor. All the guests that appear on this show and future shows are a part of the Game Night Lounge Media Network. I'm KODX Factor. This is The Jump Off. And until next week, everybody, game on.